Thank you, Ashley. Today we're just going to learn a little bit about, if you haven't already, adding wiring information to footprint symbols. There's a couple different ways you can go about displaying wiring information inside of AutoCAD Electrical, like, the terminal layout, reports that you can put onto a drawing. But we're constantly being asked, how can I, show wires that are on a footprint symbol? And I want to see the wire number and I want to see the tag. And you can add other information to that as well. And there's two ways you can go about it. You could have one footprint symbol and display the information right on the mechanical layout like this is here. I consider this my main panel drawing itself. Or you can have an additional footprint symbol that's representative of your original one. So if I take a look at this drawing right here, and I did the latter, I duplicated I created another footprint symbol to go along with what I'll call the master one. So here's a typical panel layout. I got a row of breakers up here. I got a row of relays down here, plus obviously a lot of other stuff. Here's that exact same layout, but I'm able to display all the wiring information that goes to the physical components. So this would be a secondary footprint symbol. And as you can see with these breakers, I'm showing every termination point that's being utilized. So I'm displaying the wire number and the component where it's coming from or where it's going to, as you can see up here. And if I take a look at the relays, it's the same thing. If I look at the relay coil, the K1 and the K2, it displays the wiring information for both of those. And as you can see, there's two wires under the K2. And here's one contact that it's utilizing in this first one. And as you can see in the second one, it's utilizing two of the contacts. But the main point is I'm displaying all the wiring information, exactly, here's A1X, it's got a 309, two 309s in it, and they're coming from different locations. So I'm displaying all the wiring information. So the question is, how do you get there? And that's what I'm going to talk about today. And first of all, even before I go there, there's two ways you can go about this as far as displaying wiring information. You can have a secondary footprint symbol like I just showed you, or just one, but you build the attributes into the block itself, whether you have one or two. These are all attributes. All the wiring information are just attributes. That's all they are. But it's built into the block itself, this footprint block. If you don't have a separate footprint block or have the attributes built into your original footprint symbol, you can still display wiring information, but it's kind of ugly. So an example of that, I'll go to the wire annotation command right now, and I'll do the active drawing here. And right now I'm including a wire number, a tag, and the terminal number. And these are just different options that you could choose as far as what you want to display. Again, kind of like with terminal layouts, if you will. You could show just the wire number. You could show the wire number plus the layer that it's on, or the tag. So there's different options that you can choose from. So I'll pick OK here. And like I said, if you don't have the attributes built into the footprint block itself, it can still display the wiring information, but it just plops down MTEXT, right on top of the symbol essentially. So obviously from here, I'd have to move all the MTEXT around. This isn't a mechanical layout, so it's very difficult to display all the information with your exact spacing between your operators, let's say. So this is what occurs if you don't have the attributes built into a footprint block. It'll still see it. It'll still plop the information down there for you, but you know, it's kind of ugly. So now I'm just going to go back to a couple of schematic drawings, and I'm going to insert a couple of new symbols. Electrically, schematically, I'll put the regular footprint symbol down, and then I'll put the footprint symbol down that represents the wiring annotation. So I'm going to just zoom in down here. I'm going to copy the circuit itself, copy a circuit. And I'll just copy it down to here. Say OK on my terminals and get rid of the source and destination. And I'll modify this description. I'll call it wires connected. And I'll pick OK. And then I'll just update my wire numbers so I have a wire number on the other side of that breaker there. Just do the whole drawing again real quick. And then I'll go to the next drawing in the project. This is just a regular project. As you can see over here, I just already have the drawings open. And I'll come up top here and I'll insert another relay. And I'm just going to grab one of my favorite ones from my catalog browser. And I'll drop it in right above the pilot light here. And I'll call this master control relay. Whoop. Meant to hit the tab there. And I'll give it a location code in the same enclosure as the other ones. And I'll pick OK. And then I'm going to link this child symbol to that parent that I just dropped down. Carries over all the information. First set of contacts. Make a mental note of that. There's the A1X and the A1Y. And I'll pick OK. So I got a new breaker. I got a new relay. I'll go to my regular mechanical drawing, the panel layout at this point. And I'll go back up to my panel tab. And I'll pull up a schematic list to insert my new footprint symbols, my standard footprint symbols, not the ones I'm going to be using to annotate. I'll just do everything here. And I'm going to sort my list, make sure it's sorted by the tag name, mark existing, and then hide existing. So here's the new breaker. Here's the new relay. I'll start with the breaker. I'll make sure I rotate it 0 degrees before I insert it. And I'll just drop it up here next to the other ones. And I'll pick OK. And then I'll grab the relay and I'll insert my new relay. I'll just drop this down here. And I'll pick OK here. And then I'll close out my list. And I will update other drawings right now. So at this point, no different than what you're probably doing right now with your panel drawings. Insert some symbols, some schematic symbols, insert the equivalent footprint symbol. Could have inserted the footprint symbol first and gone and inserted the schematic. if that's your workflow as well. So nothing out of the ordinary at this point. So now I'm going to go to the drawing where I'm displaying the wiring information on the footprint symbols. And this time I'm just going to go to the icon menu. And I'll just hit my browse button. And I just have two of these footprint symbols that display the wiring information. There's my breaker. I'm letting it know that it is a footprint, not one of the other two categories. And I'll drop it down right here. Rotate it 0 degrees. Now, underneath component tag, I'm going to go to my schematic list, and I'll grab my new footprint symbol, tag, select OK, and you will get some warnings. And these are good warnings, just like, as you know, as an AutoCAD Electrical user, when you're doing something, you know, that might not be correct, even though this is correct, it'll give you a warning. And this is a good thing, obviously, because if this wasn't my intention, you know, you don't want to duplicate footprint symbols. So I'll leave this as is. And there's my new footprint symbol. I'll go down here and do the same thing for the relay. Hit the browse button once again, hit the relay symbol this time. Once again, this is a footprint. Drop it down right next to the other ones. Go to my schematic list for the tag once again. And there's my new master control relay. Everything fills in. I'll get the warnings again. So now, unlike when I was over in the operator station where there wasn't any attributes that pick up the wiring information built into the symbol, this is what you end up with. But when you do have the attributes built into the symbol, and I'll go back and run the same exact command, and I'll select OK here. I'll leave these the same. Pick OK. And now it fills in the proper wiring information, showing exactly what terminal number that it goes to. So you're physically representing it, including the wiring information. So obviously in this case, terminal number 5, that was the common. That's why you see 2 wires up here. And then the other one has one that goes to a terminal block. And if I go back, because sometimes we're always leery, did it really catch the correct wiring information? If I go back to the schematic itself, wire number 309, sitting at the CB 332 right here, and it had 2 wires on it back in the panel, footprint symbol. Because one's coming from CB 330, and then the next one would be going to wherever this picks up on reference number 402. So if I go back and take a look at that, there's the 309. It's going to a push button on sheet number 4, and it's coming from the previous breaker. And then on the other side, you know, there's wire number 332 right there. Wire number 332 on terminal number 6. If I take a look at the relay, an example of the coil, It has 2 wires on both K1 and K2. The 403B is going to a pilot light and another push button. And the 309B is going to a pilot light and a pressure switch. So if I go back to the schematic, here's the K1 or the 403B, and it is going relay to pilot light. The 332, same thing. It's coming from somewhere else and is going to here. And if I take a look at the contact, here's wire number 403 and wire number 332. There's the A1X, there's the A1Y. The exact duplicate wiring information. Now, as you can see here, I'm only using one contact off of that relay right now. That's why the A1X and the A1Y are only showing wiring information. So if it doesn't have, if you're not utilizing, in this case, a contact or a child symbol, it's not going to show up. Look at these relays. 3 in a row here where it's not using any contacts, but they are being wired to the coil itself, the K1 and the K2. Now, as you start to use, or if, at a later time, you need to pick up, in this case, another contact off that same relay coil. I'll go back to my schematic. I'll go to the icon menu. And I'll go to Relays, Contacts. And I'll just insert another contact. And I'll just drop it down, let's say, right about here. And I'll go to my parent sibling button once again. Pick the coil here. Select OK. So now there's the A4X and the A4Y being utilized. 406 wire number on the A4X, 406B on the A4Y. So now if I go back to my footprint wire drawing, and I'll go back to my panel tab, and I'll basically update this. I'll go back to the wire annotation. I'll do everything again. And now, as you can see, it picks up the A4X and the A4Y. So if you have a symbol, parent child, obviously, and you're not using all the child symbols for that component, it simply won't show up. As soon as you do utilize one of the child symbols, then it will show up. And you just think of it as, a physical wire. If it doesn't have any physical wires going to it, it's not going to show up in the footprint layout wiring diagram that I'm showing right here. So if it's not wired in the schematic, it's not going to show up as wired in the panel. And that's why, each one of these could look different. This first one over here, it's using the first set of contacts. This next one here, you've got 2 contacts, just like I did over here. Those 3 in the middle, like I said, it's not using any of the contacts off those relay coils for whatever reason right now. Now, what is this symbol? Or actually, before I do that, one of the questions we get is, what does it look like in the bill of material? It doesn't change a thing in the bill of material. I can go to my reports. I'll run a bill of material for the whole project. And here's that CB332, because I used to be afraid of this too. Is it going to duplicate it? No, it doesn't duplicate it. There's the 332. There's the 406 or the 403 that I added. As you can see, that doesn't get duplicated as well. Now, what does this symbol look like and what attributes do you need? I'll just copy one, regular AutoCAD copy, and then I'll explode it so we can take a look at it. And before I explode it, if I double click on it, you're going to see a pattern here. It's going to have typical attributes like the tag, the descriptions, the manufacturer, the catalog, installation, location. But then you actually place connection points down on the footprint symbol itself. And just like it does when you place connection points down for any symbol, you've got the connection point attribute, and then you've got the description, you know, the pin number attribute or terminal number, if you will. You can even put another one on top of that as a second description of the terminal number. And that's basically what they're doing here. We have the terminal number itself, the connection point, right here. Here's a description of it. And then it also needs this wire number attribute as well. So each connection point on the symbol has every single one of these attributes. So if I explode it, as you can see here, and these obviously graphically, you set them up any way you want. Alls I did, especially with the breaker, I just took my regular footprint symbol and I made a footprint with wiring annotation symbol out of it. With the relay, I got more detail because my relay symbol, as you saw back here, not much detail here, right? So think of it just like any other footprint symbol. Usually you're going to need more detail than just a rectangle because you want somebody to see the wire in the terminal number that it goes to. But as far as the graphics are concerned, you can make it any way you want. And I just tried to kind of duplicate what the symbol looks like as if you were holding it in your hand. But like I said, you can include any graphics you want. And then you can set up the positioning of where those attributes end up. So like here's the terminal 1 attribute right there. That's the actual terminal number or pin number. And then we have all those other attributes underneath it. Well, like I said, when you create a regular schematic symbol, you place connection point attributes down on a schematic symbol. You do the same thing with these footprint symbols. You actually put a connection point down there. I just happen to have mine right there. And then I've got the terminal description. And then I've got there's the wire number attribute that is required. So when I lined them up at the end of the day, you know, it took a couple of swipes at it at first. This is what I end up with over here. And as you can see, every single connection point or terminal number requires those attributes. And then here, this potentially could be, you know, let's say a 4-contact relay. I'm only utilizing 2 of them on the one that I inserted. But if I continue to insert more, then it would pick up these other terminals, which are the actual contact. And then all of this stuff, obviously, you can fill in as well. Your descriptions, your tag obviously need installation location. And then this is what you end up with over here. There's my tag, there's my descriptions. I've got the manufacturer, the catalog. Those are invisible right now, but they're still there. But that's what it takes. When you think about it, it's your footprint symbol with a few more attributes. the connection point attribute, the terminal description attribute, the wire number attribute. And that's why I say, in this obviously, you know, there's no just magical green button that you can do to make this happen. You have to create the symbols. That's a little bit time consuming up front, but if you need this type of information, this is what you're going to get out of the back end. And I consider it like, if anybody's taken class from me, when we get into symbol creation itself, you know, I call it a 4-step process. If you get a new component right off the shelf tomorrow to your company, never used it yet, what do you have to do? You got to create a schematic symbol for that component. You got to create a footprint symbol for that component. You have to add the catalog number to the parts database. Then you want to link the footprint symbol to the catalog number. If you need to display wiring information like this, I add one more step to that 4-step process. Now it becomes a 5-step process. So then I go and create a second footprint symbol. I've already created the one. I can create my one with the wiring information based off of my original one. So yep, it will take you, you know, creating a secondary footprint symbol, or like I said as well, you can add it to, I've seen other people where they'll include the attributes in their standard footprint symbol, and you get into a layering organization, meaning you could take all those attributes that I had on the footprint symbols. If you wanted to add them to your master, let's say, footprint symbol, and you didn't want to create a second one, you could add the wiring information to your original ones. And I've seen some people do, you know, they'll take all the layers, like right now, and freeze them all, and then turn the layers on that represent the attributes of the footprint wiring annotation. So they maintain one drawing that way in one symbol. Or you do it like I did it here, create a second footprint symbol, and then add the correct attributes that it needs for the wiring annotation. So you can look at it 2 different ways. Keep one footprint symbol, play with the layers, or create a second footprint symbol in a secondary, or however many drawings you want. I've also seen people, especially with mechanical drawings, they might not create a new drawing and add it to the project like I did. Remember, you could always create a layout, and inside that layout, create a viewport displaying the symbols that you want with the wiring information in there. So I've seen people do it that way as well. But we often get asked the question, you know, about AutoCAD Electrical, how can I show the wiring information on the panel itself? And there's never been a great solution, and I'm not saying this is perfect at all. You know, I'd like to see it where it shows all the wiring information in the panel, and you know, where it's coming from, where it's going to physically. As you know, we can't do that, but we can at the very least, which I think is a good option for a lot of people, not everybody. At the very least, now you can see physically what wires go to what terminal number on what component. So it can make it easier on the people in the field, or even as the designer or engineer when you're looking at the drawings, especially from a troubleshooting standpoint. So that, excuse me, that concludes wiring information on footprint symbols. Does anybody have any questions? I don't see any questions in the dialog box. So I guess if there are no questions, Ashley has recorded this. If you have any questions when we hang up right here, shoot us an email and we'll get them answered.
Yeah, thank you, Greg. Yes, if you think of additional questions later, you could simply reply to that confirmation or reminder email that you receive from GoToWebinar, and we can get those to your sales rep or Greg to get your questions answered. Once again, if you could just fill out the short survey, we would appreciate it. It's just a few questions, and it will pop up as we close down today. And yes, tomorrow you will receive an email with the recording link for the presentation today. And I don't see anything else popping in, so have a great day, everyone, and thank you for attending.
Yes, thank you. Have a good day.